Palestinians in that way. So no, we're not a better, we're actually worse.
The sun needs to come off.
The sun is not coming off. You can arrest me. The sun is not coming off because that is the truth.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do
No,
it.
they're not, it's not coming off. And it doesn't need to be.
Somebody who's never met this woman. My husband is Jewish. My friend's husband is Jewish. This woman is Jewish. This woman's family died in the Nazi Holocaust. This woman's family died in the Nazi Holocaust.
Obviously, the public under common law have the right to peacefully protest, but that could incite hate towards a specific community.
That is not hate. That
She's
is
from
the
that
hate
community.
to protect the Israeli extermination of Gaza. And you know what is hate? Is to assume that Jews supporting it. That is hate. That is anti-Semitic for you to even imply that Jews support this Holocaust which is happening as we speak in Gaza.
the truth.
At the moment, it is 1:51 in the afternoon. I'm arresting you under Section 18 of the Law.
No, shame on you. Shame on you. Don't do this. Don't do this.
My dear Palestinian friends, listen to me. The world is changing. You won. You Palestinians, you Gazans, you people who are in a concentration camp, you have made a revolution in the United States of America. America will never be the same. I promise you. I promise you. I see it. You changed America, let alone defeated Israel. You changed the world. You paid a very, very painful price for it. And the world owes you that. And every American owes you that because you're liberating the United States of America. Forget about everybody else. You Gazans have liberated the United States of America. I promise you that. Do not accept anything less than from the river to the sea. All of it. You should be ruling the world. You're the only people who are fighting for freedom and liberty. And everybody else is playing lip service. You guys defeated the United States of America. There was no power that could have done that. The Gazans did that. God bless you, my brothers. I feel liberated already. There's things I couldn't say that I can say now. Our politicians are running scared. I'm getting letters from Biden's campaign begging me to stay with them. It's not gonna happen. I'll vote for my flip-flops before I vote for Biden.
How you're feeling ever since October 7th?
Well, look, Christian, I cannot begin to describe to you the depth of the grief, the pain, and the shock that we are feeling here in Jordan. All of us are united in this grief, regardless of our origin. We are just can't believe the images that we're seeing every single day coming out of Gaza. We're going to bed seeing those images and waking up to them. You know, I don't know how to, you know, as a mom, we've seen Palestinian mothers who've had to write the names of their children on their hands because the chances of them being shelled to death, of their bodies turning into corpses, are so high. I just want to remind the world that Palestinian mothers love their children just as much as any other mother in the world. And for them to have to go through this is just unbelievable. And equally, I think the people all around the Middle East, including in Jordan, we are just shocked and disappointed by the world's reaction to this catastrophe that is unfolding. In the last couple of weeks, we have seen, you know, a glaring double standard in the world. When October 7th happened, the world immediately and unequivocally stood by Israel and its right to defend itself and condemned the attack that happened. But what we're seeing the last couple of weeks, we're seeing silence in the world. countries have stopped at just expressing concern or acknowledging the casualties, but always with a preface of declaration of support for Israel. And, are we being told that it is wrong to kill a family, an entire family at gunpoint, but it's okay to shell them to death? I mean, there is a glaring double standard here, and it is just shocking to the Arab world. This is the first time in modern history that there is such human suffering, and the world is not even calling for a ceasefire. So the silence is deafening, and to many in our region, it makes the Western world complicit, through their support and through the cover that they give Israel, that it is just its right to defend itself. Many in the Arab world are looking at the Western world as not just tolerating this, but as aiding and abetting it. And this is just horrendous, and it's deeply, deeply disappointing.
Governments across the world, in an attempt to address anti-Semitism and somehow redress the horrors of the Holocaust, are allowing Israel to get away with apartheid, ethnic cleansing, detention of children, torture, restriction of movement and other freedoms, and the illegal occupation of land. After every genocide, the world cries out, "Never again." And yet here you see another attempted genocide unfold right in front of your eyes, and you don't just watch on quietly, but actively supporting the oppressor. We will not allow you to get away with that. While I am by all means condemning the attacks by Hamas on the Israeli people, I am also condemning the violence Israel is and has been inflicting on Palestinians since 1948. And I stand with the Palestinian people for their right to self-determination. As long as we allow for the continued oppression of Palestinians and place higher value on the lives and right to self-determination of some over others, we will not see peace in the Middle East. There cannot be peace without justice. And there cannot be healing without justice.
Car seul un cessez-le-feu immédiat permettra de sauver des dizaines de milliers de vies innocentes. Seul un cessez-le-feu permettra que les otages puissent être libérés et que les bombes cessent de pleuvoir sur une population palestinienne prise au piège. Ce qui se passe à Gaza devrait foudroyer notre sens de l'humanité. Nous parlons face à un cimetière. Des milliers de morts, 1 million de personnes déplacées dont la moitié sont des enfants. L'emploi de phosphore blanc dénoncé par 2 ONG internationales. 59 attaques contre des établissements de santé, 170 établissements scolaires touchés. Les Palestiniens ne sont pas des amas de statistiques, des êtres surnuméraires. C'est cette vision du monde profondément raciste qui légitime le massacre. Cessez le feu! Pourquoi la France reste-t-elle silencieuse? Pourquoi la France est-elle incapable de dénoncer avec la même force les crimes de guerre commis par le Hamas et ceux commis par le gouvernement de Netanyahou? Un crime de guerre n'est pas justifiable en aucun cas. Toutes les vies humaines se valent. Toutes les vies humaines se valent. Madame la Première ministre, nos larmes ne peuvent pas être à géométrie et à géographie.
I've been involved in politics for 40 years, but I have never seen anything like what is being unleashed in Gaza, in full public view, while the world watches it unfold. 10 days of relentless airstrikes, 1 in 1,000 people murdered by the Israeli government in a week, open declarations of siege, 24 hours of fuel, electricity and water left, collective punishment on innocent people, all illegal, all war crimes. And when the EU should have been arguing for a ceasefire, for the upholding of international law, for the protection of civilians, Ursula von der Leyen touches down in Tel Aviv to photo op the preparation of a genocide and says Europe stands with Israel now and in the days to come. How dare she? She has no authority in foreign affairs matter. She does not speak for me. She does not speak for Ireland, and she does not speak for the citizens of Europe. We stand for peace, we stand for justice for the people of Palestine and for the upholding of international law. It's long past the time that this woman exited the stage. It's time for her to go and for the International Criminal Court to investigate her.
Okay, it feels important to say this. I am not pulling my perspective on Israel-Palestine out of my ass. Okay, I'm not just guessing that Israel is committing a genocide against Palestine. I have studied and researched this. I have bona fides and I will share them. First of all, I'm a Jewish woman. I was raised by a Zionist family. My grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. My family talks about our spirit of resistance and resilience constantly. Desiring goodness from the nation of Israel is in my blood, and still, I can see that this Zionist state is vicious, violent, and evil. If someone who is raised by a Zionist family, by people who believe that Israel has the right to exist and that it is our salvation, if I can overcome my pro-Israel bias and learn about this conflict, so can you. And frankly, I should not be calling it a conflict, it's a genocide. So when I was in college, around 2012, 2013, a bunch of my friends and loved ones started going on birthright trips. And I knew enough then to ask the question when they got back from their birthright trips, what about Palestine? And when these people I love, admire, and respect started talking about Palestinians and using language like terrorists, I knew I had to learn more. I also knew that I wanted to go on birthright, and I was nervous about being brainwashed by the trip, and I should have been nervous. So before I went on birthright, I decided at my small liberal arts school in Massachusetts to get a well-rounded perspective, educational perspective on Israeli-Palestinian politics. I took 4 courses: Suffering and Evil in the Jewish Tradition, the Jewish Experience, Middle East Politics, and Arab-Israeli Conflict. I also took international and comparative politics courses that often brought up Israel and Palestine in comparisons to, for example, apartheid South Africa. And by the time I finished my ample coursework on the subject before I went on birthright, I was already pro-Palestine. Because once you are in the literature, once you are in the research, not the media stories about this, not the pro-Zionist rigmarole on CNN and MSNBC, once you are in the literature and the data, this isn't a debate. This isn't a question. People talk about Israel-Palestine like it is incredibly complicated, and I reject that premise. It is not. We know that anti-Semitism exists globally, right? We know that Jews are not the most beloved population in the world.
First of all, the ANC was a terrorist organisation and Nelson Mandela was a terrorist. And then you can say Yasser Arafat and the PLO, they were terrorists. Mr. Heaton-Harris, this didn't start on the 7th of October. Do the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves? Because the speak is, Israel has a right to defend itself. Did Palestine have a right to defend itself when land was taken from it, when people were dispossessed, when houses were levelled, when UN resolutions on torture, on ethnic cleansing, on apartheid? Did the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves? Did they have a right to defend themselves when Israel turn on and turn off the electricity and stop food and stop medical aid long before this attack?
Well,
because,
let him answer, shall we?
Just one more thing, right? There are 600 Palestinian children buried under the rubble at this moment in time. There are over 500 Palestinian children dead, and there are 500 Palestinian children in jail, 150 of them minors. Hostages. The children under the rubble are hostages, the children in the jail.
The Israelis right now are scared to death. They mobilized 360,000 reservists. Let's just put this in perspective. The vast majority of these people did their 2.5 years military service. The Israeli army is not very good. They have some units that are very capable, some of their special forces units, some of their specialized units. They have some technical units that are very good, but the mainstay, the infantry units, the armor units, they're not very good. And they have become even less good by being pulled back from conventional combat duties to policing duties in the West Bank. So most of these reservists spent their time walking the streets in the West Bank, learning how to break the arms of 10-year-old children, how to rough up 15-year-old girls, and how to belly shoot 60-year-old men. That's what they did. Brutal occupation. It was horribly demoralizing for many of these people. They didn't like doing this, and when they left the military, they didn't have a high regard for the military. So now they're back, But this time they're being called upon to do something that nobody in Israel wants to do. Go into Gaza. Why? Because in 2014, they went into Gaza and Hamas handed it to them. In 2006, they went up against Hezbollah and Hezbollah handed it to them. The Israeli army just isn't that good, and they're scared to death because Hamas is waiting for them. This is one giant ambush, and the Israeli intelligence is blind. They don't know where they are. They're going to have to go in there and probe, and as they probe, they're going to be blown up, ambushed, slaughtered, and they know